Good morning. Frank Adams here with Dean Rule from Connectiflor. We're standing in the showroom at Royal Flowers International with some test varieties. We're on the third floor of this amazing floral display. I'll show you some pictures later. But for now, Dean is going to describe for us what we're doing here today with some test varieties. Hi, Dean.
Hi, good morning. Although I'm from the United States, I've lived in Ecuador with my family for 29 years. Much of that time involved in the selection and breeding of greenhouse roses. One of the things that we constantly feel is that we are a long way from the market, and a grower, a breeder in a foreign country does not necessarily know what a retailer or consumer wants in the United States or other markets. And so we developed a program, it's still in a pilot stage, that we send a large quantity of different varieties, 40 to 60 different commercial varieties in test, and also new codes, and I'll provide along with the sheet that explains each one in the first person, a sheet that the person going through fills out with their interests, and each one gets a certain number of stickers to have a kind of voting. This helps the wholesaler, it helps the importer, it helps the grower make better decisions on varieties to do things that we may not be able to understand from where we're coming from.
So what we're doing today is each person that comes up to visit this test variety table will get a form with 12 stickers. So they go around and look at all the varieties, and when they're finished doing that, they pick their 12 favorite ones for whatever reason and chart them. This helps decide what new varieties will go into production. So for instance, Dean's written descriptions of each of the varieties in first person. So this one says, can you read this for us, Dean?
Yes. The rumor is that I am on fire is a new light pink rose. When I have been on display at shows around the world, I seem to stop the crowds. Do you want to have clients rave about your roses and reduce the number of insertions to cover an area? If so, ask for me by my name Krista, named after a much appreciated and respected member of a Dutch flower breeding family. Do you like me? Do I get a sticker? Leave a comment if you'd like to. It's a large light pink rose, which is really a showstopper at shows, and the demand at the retail level is very strong.
Great. So Dean, if you'll walk with me here,
okay.
We're just going to take a look. I'm not going to tell the story of each individual rose, but I want to give everybody an idea of how many varieties are on display today. So we're just going to take a little cruise here. If you could name them for me as we pass by.
This one is Lakeside. I'll just read the description. It says, I like to grow on with a couple of my best buds, even though they're still a little green. Well, people use buds for buddies, but the concept is everything that we look at now, we're looking at new varieties to see if they will grow as a Royal Victorian rose, because that has an interesting niche in the market. So that's Lakeside.
Fantastic.
The next one is Minion, a light yellow, interesting mints of fresh yellow-green.
Minion.
Minion, mint. Mother of Pearl. Mother of Pearl was a variety. It's an interesting story. When it was still a code, my wife saw it in Ecuador, said it was great. The grower said, oh, it's not a pure color, won't sell. It shows how sometimes the people growing things are a long way away from what the market says.
Isn't that the truth?
This is Nectarine, a peach. This is a Queen of Pearl, the first commercial mutation of Mother of Pearl. There are now others that are under test, but it's a very pure one. Regatta, a yellow, 18-day vase life, opens up beautifully and lasts very well.
18-day vase life, that's amazing.
Amazing. And just to give a little bit of the story, the Dutch were going to call it Radler, and I said, hey, wait, that sounds too much like something that's going to bite you. In Germany and the Netherlands, that's a combination of beer and lemonade. It doesn't sound the same thing.
Right.
And those of us who've grown up around rattlesnakes. The next one is Sandy, a description really of the color. Beautiful opening. It's actually our fastest seller right now. Our problem is budwood. This is Solsi, another white, creamy white that tints very well. So some of it's going to come through tinted. This is Tiara. Tiara is a lavender, almost an antique lavender, and for certain types of weddings and other work, a very appreciated variety. This is Tutti Frutti, a very strong grower, also very long lasting. The following one is a code. It doesn't have a name yet. It's still being evaluated. Kind of a light green with almost airbrush tips on the petals.
So no name for that one
No
yet.
name for that one, still a number. This is a new code also. It's got a code name Dijon, like the mustard, and it's looking interesting. So we're expanding it to see if it's going to go commercial or not. This is undercover. Camera doesn't really show it very well usually, but the reds are hard to photograph, but it's a very bright cherry red and also is available in a Victorian style. The next four are part of the Pride of Jane series in conjunction with the Jane Austen Society in the Netherlands in honor of the 150th anniversary. So it's Pride of Jane, Lady Carolina, Mansfield Park, and Emma Woodfield, all named after Jane Austen novels. New introduction into the English garden type of roses. And there's some interesting trailers that can be shown in a shop to show to customers.
So if you're just joining us, or if you didn't hear at the beginning, these varieties are not in production currently. So this flower show is a great time to get wholesalers together and comment and vote on these varieties. Now they've templated this program so that wholesalers can also order this by kit and have these flowers delivered to their wholesale house for shows, for customers, for retailers, and for studio florists to come in and comment on. This one is hearts.
This one's hearts, so it's a combination. Some of these are commercial varieties in production, and hearts is interesting because at the beginning people said, what's wrong with the center of it? This is the first in a series that we're showing that we're going to call, we've trademarking the name Tea Garden. Why? Because they have the growth characteristics of a hybrid tea, but they have the special forms like a garden rose, and so they're roses that can perform well for wholesaler, retailer, grower, everyone along the line. Hearts is not only won Best Rose but Best of Show at SAF Outstanding Varieties Competition, and it's continuing to grow in the market. It takes time for people, but a retailer says, I don't want to just sell the typical red rose, I want to sell a rose that tells a story. Can do that with hearts.
You can do that with hearts. And with this Tea Garden series, they don't carry the same price tag as regular garden rose. Is that true?
Yeah, they're usually somewhere between a regular hybrid tea and but more economical a garden rose. So it's Lovely Hearts. This is Newsflash. That's a good producer. That will normally be the same kind of prices. This is Lovely
Hearts
here.
And Newsflash.
And that's Newsflash. This is Romanza, a pink.
Oh, this one's hard to photograph. Let me see if I can get it from this side.
We don't have the best lighting here.
That's okay. This is Romanza.
It's Romanza.
And we're swinging over here to a couple of codes.
These are all, the next three are codes. You can't tell it from this because this is not under the right plastic. It's Budwood Expansion, but the following one was shown on the spec webpage, had over 400,000 views and over 20,000 likes. So that again is a voting thing. So we're learning about the market. People aren't even in flowers. And then we start the series of spray roses. Cream Arishka is this one. This is Gemstar, Irishka, Fresh Hadada, and Hadada, which are more of a garden type. A little difficult to grow. It actually may have to come out of a heated greenhouse. It's difficult to grow them without heat. This is Lavender Arishka. And I'm going to pull these out. This is Orange Star, a new orange. The interesting thing, if you can see on this, as I separate it, this is an orange that has long laterals. And so some of these that are the American bred sprays have laterals that can be separated and used as if they were a miniature carnation or a sprake or a pom-pom chrysanthemum.
So very long laterals, you can see right here.
Versus the European.
This is about a 12-inch lateral, and then some of them are 4 inches, 7 inches. So lots of choices.
The Arishkas are European sprays, so they're more concentrated at the top, but they're very difficult to separate and use as stems. So it gives the designer flexibility. That's Pink Irishka.
Very garden spray rose-like.
Mm-hmm. Purple Irishka. Supernova. It's giant. I mean, it's practically the size sometimes of a small hybrid tea. Sorry.
It's okay.
And then this is Splendid Irishka, more of the family. Star Blush. Star Blush is really our strongest. It's a basic light pink, just like the largest selling color in hybrid teas is red. The light pink is and it's shaped like a very nice miniature rose.
So we're familiar with star blush. How does it get on this table? Why is it on the...
This because the table is everything to show from old to new. It's not
Uh-huh.
everything, but it kind of to show some collection.
Sure.
So
you can compare colors
you can
side by
compare
side.
colors side by side and see if this still is meeting the market needs. This doesn't have a name yet. It opens. It's crazy. It's a big garden almost type of shape on a special color.
This one really caught my attention, Dean, because this looks like a Black Magic spray rose.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. It's this dark burgundy, gorgeous spray rose that is, it looks like Black Magic to me.
So it is being planted now. It's not going to be real long, but usually you don't need it for
Right.
what it is. Then the next three are actually ones with fragrance. So they're named, the yellow is Creme Brulee, the next one is Eclair, and the next one is Plum Brulee. So they're non-fattening
Dessert roses.
Dessert roses. You get the dessert through the nose, not the
Look at
mouth.
this Acapulco. It's amazing. Look how
So
many
now
colors
this starts
you have.
what we call our wild and rare collection. It's divided into some different collections. We can have catalogs for anyone who wants. And this is Corneille and Charming Corneille. These are the Green Center collection. The next one is Grazy Corneille. And I thought it was a misspelling. It shows how well I keep up with the Urban Dictionary. Grazy is a new word in the English language, which is a combination of great and crazy. And so that's why it was named. Georgia Peach, named by one of the growers. Hot Rock.
My camera is not doing this rose justice at all.
This is just an example. You can't just sell it at Halloween. The grower can't grow it that way, but it can be an interesting thing if you can imagine sending this in an arrangement to a teenager.
Right.
For instance, has said, I'm going to show him something different. Juicy Fresh has been introduced by Royal Flowers, grown by others. Looks like you want to squeeze it into a glass. This is Maid of Honor. It opens up to her large rose is still pretty tight. This is Maravilla, marvelous in Spanish. Another cousin practically of Juicy Fresh. And then
Top Design.
Top Design, which takes a designer to know how to use certain things. And the last one is Wild Moments.
And that concludes our tour. I'm going to back up so you can see this whole table here. And we'll go back around just as an overview. So as a wholesaler, I'm pretty excited about this. I love that my voice counts. I can take into consideration all the things that we've been asked for as buyers, and all the things that just stand out in terms of their color or their performance, their head size, the shape. But what's more exciting is that I can order this as a kit and have it brought to Frank Adams. We have our wedding show in the spring, so I'm looking forward to ordering these and bringing them back to Portland. So all of our local florists, studio florists, wedding florists can vote and leave comments that the growers will see. Thank you so much for your time. And Dean, thank you for explaining.
Thank you very much for taking the time to come up and see it.